It's chewy, it's crunchy, it's chocolatey. Snickers, that legendary blend of nougat, caramel, peanuts, and milk chocolate, is one of the most recognizable candy bars in the world. For many, it's the go-to snack when hunger strikes. For others, it's a nostalgic treat packed with memories. But for everyone, it's a masterclass in candy construction. Since its creation in 1930, Snickers has evolved from a local family invention to a global sweet tooth phenomenon. Invented by Frank Mars and named after the family's favorite horse, the bar launched with a simple but revolutionary concept. Take 4 wildly different textures and tastes and combine them into one balanced bite. And what a bite it is! A soft nougat base, infused with peanut butter, topped with golden caramel and salted, roasted peanuts, then coated in a layer of silky, melt-resistant milk chocolate. Every element is engineered for one purpose: satisfaction. Today, over 15 million Snickers bars are produced daily across the globe. The sheer scale of that operation is staggering, and behind every bar is an intricate choreography of food science, industrial engineering, logistics, and time-honed craftsmanship. In this video, we go behind the scenes inside one of Mars Incorporated's flagship candy production facilities, a state-of-the-art factory in Waco, Texas, to witness the full journey of how a Snickers bar is made from scratch. You'll see how raw ingredients are transformed into something iconic, step by step. So what exactly does it take to build the world's most popular candy bar with perfect consistency in massive quantities every single day? Chocolate, engineered to behave like magic. Before any caramel is stirred or nougat is whipped, the Snickers bar begins with one critical foundation: milk chocolate. But this isn't just ordinary chocolate. It's a custom formula engineered for 2 key features: flavor depth and heat resistance. Most chocolates melt quickly, which is great on your tongue, but a problem for high-speed production lines and long-distance shipping. That's why Snickers chocolate includes extra cocoa butter and a high dose of lecithin, a natural emulsifier. This combination helps it stay solid longer, melt more smoothly in the mouth, and adhere evenly to the layers inside the bar. The journey begins at the bean. Large sacks of cocoa beans arrive at the facility and are immediately sorted by variety and quality. These beans are then roasted in massive industrial ovens, where careful timing and temperature control coax out deep chocolate aromas while reducing bitter notes. After roasting, the beans are cracked and winnowed, separating the outer shell from the nib, the heart of the cocoa bean, rich in flavor and fat. The nibs are then ground into chocolate liquor, a thick, dark paste with the consistency of wet clay. This liquor is blended with sugar, milk powder, and additional cocoa butter to form what is known as chocolate mass. But the process doesn't stop there. To refine the texture, this mass is passed through a 5-roll refiner, a series of high-pressure steel rollers that reduce the particle size down to a silky smooth 20 microns. At this stage, the chocolate starts to feel creamy to the tongue, even before tempering. Next comes conching, a step named after the shell-like machines originally used for the process. Modern conches churn the chocolate for hours at carefully controlled temperatures. The goal? To remove any remaining moisture and volatile acids, fully emulsify the cocoa particles, and round out the flavor. Then comes the critical final stage, tempering. In this phase, the chocolate is gently heated, cooled, and reheated in a highly specific sequence that encourages the formation of Type 5 cocoa butter crystals, the most stable and glossy variety. This is what gives the Snickers coating its signature snap and shine and prevents it from melting prematurely during wrapping, shipping, or holding it in your hand. The fully tempered chocolate is now stored in jacketed steel tanks, kept at a constant 90 degrees Fahrenheit, waiting for the moment it will enrobe the final bars. But we're not there yet. First, the interior must be built layer by delicious layer. Peanuts, roasted with precision, packed with flavor. With chocolate waiting patiently in its tempered state, it's time to prepare the crunch. For Snickers, that means peanuts. And not just any peanuts. Snickers uses a specific variety called runner peanuts, grown primarily in the southeastern United States. These are selected for their uniform size, consistent roasting profile, and deep, nutty flavor. Mars buys peanuts by the hundreds of tons each week, and every nut must meet strict standards for size, shape, moisture, and flavor integrity. Once delivered to the factory, raw, deshelled peanuts are stored in massive silos designed to protect against humidity, pests, and spoilage. From these silos, they're gravity-fed into pre-cleaning stations where they're sorted and screened. Air jets remove dust and lighter debris, while rollers weed out cracked or broken specimens. Only the most pristine peanuts move on. The clean batches are then funneled into a hopper which feeds a broad, vibrating conveyor belt. This conveyor carries the peanuts into a massive tunnel roaster, a 150-foot-long chamber that looks more like a spaceship than a kitchen appliance. Inside, the peanuts are exposed to dry convection heat at approximately 350 degrees Fahrenheit for up to 30 minutes. The temperature and timing aren't fixed. They're dynamically adjusted by smart sensors that measure airflow, humidity, and even the internal moisture of the peanuts in real time. To ensure even roasting, the conveyor system gently rocks from side to side, exposing every peanut to equal heat. It's a slow, rhythmic motion, a mechanical peanut dance designed to avoid under or over roasting. As the peanuts exit the tunnel, their transformation is evident. They're slightly golden, their skins lightly toasted, and their aroma, rich, earthy, nutty, fills the production hall. Workers near this section often say, "You can smell when it's a good roast." And they're right. This isn't just automation, it's craftsmanship. Next, the hot peanuts tumble into a spinning seasoning drum, where they're coated in a fine mist of superfine salt brine. This delicate layer of salt doesn't overpower. It simply heightens the flavor and prepares the nuts for their starring role in the caramel layer. But before that can happen, they must be cooled and stabilized. The freshly salted peanuts travel across a chilled mesh conveyor, where cold air is blown upward to rapidly drop their temperature to below 90 degrees Fahrenheit. This prevents condensation, clumping, and premature oil release, all of which could affect texture later in the process. By the end of this phase, the peanuts are roasted, salted, cooled, and quality checked, ready to meet their molten partner, caramel. But they're not the first layer in a Snickers bar. That honor belongs to the soft, chewy canvas beneath them, Nougat. Nougat, the chewy engine at the heart of it all. Soft yet firm, sweet but not cloying. Nougat is the quiet hero of the Snickers bar. It gives the bar its base structure, chewiness, and a subtle nutty flavor that anchors the more intense layers above. While Nougat may look simple, the process of making it at industrial scale is anything but. In a sealed, climate-controlled zone of the factory, the Nougat production line begins with 5 core ingredients: corn syrup for sweetness and elasticity, granulated sugar for structure, water to dissolve the solids, salt to balance flavor, and most importantly, egg whites, whipped to perfection. These ingredients are loaded into separate mixing tanks, each dedicated to a specific phase of the process. The corn syrup, sugar, and salt are first blended and brought to a boil in a stainless steel cooking kettle, reaching a precise temperature of 250 degrees Fahrenheit. This hot syrup is the foundation. Meanwhile, in a separate mixer, egg whites are beaten at high speed until soft peaks form. This creates a light foam structure, which will expand dramatically when the hot syrup is added. The syrup is slowly poured into the egg whites using a metered feeding line, carefully timed to prevent collapse or premature cooking of the foam. The combination of sugar and protein forms the classic aerated matrix. That Nougat is known for firm, elastic, and resilient under stress. Next, the nougat mixture is transferred into a secondary kneading tank where a generous dose of freshly ground peanut butter is folded in. This is a critical step unique to Snickers. The peanut butter adds not just flavor but also fat, which softens the chew and improves long-term moisture retention. It's what gives Snickers Nougat that creamy, slightly salty undertone and prevents it from becoming tough or dry over time. As the warm nougat is fully mixed, it's piped toward the shaping line via a screw extruder. At the end of the line sits a device called a sheeter, a pair of massive chilled metal rollers positioned above a wide stainless steel conveyor. The nougat flows between the rollers, which press and flatten it into a continuous sheet exactly 1 inch thick and 28 inches wide, the perfect dimensions for the next stage. The rollers are kept at 24 degrees Fahrenheit, forming a light skin on the surface of the nougat as it exits, which prevents sticking during the next steps. The newly formed nougat sheet is gently scraped off the roller and lands flat on a conveyor below. Still warm on the inside but firm on the outside, the nougat is now ready to take on its co-stars, the caramel and the peanuts. But even before those ingredients are layered, the nougat goes through one final check. Infrared cameras scan the sheet for air bubbles, tears, or inconsistent thickness. Any section that doesn't meet specifications is flagged and removed. Precision is key. At this point in the process, you can start to see the Snickers bar take shape. The nougat sheet continues along its path, soon to be blanketed by molten caramel and studded with roasted peanuts. It's this foundation, soft, chewy, and quietly complex, that sets the tone for everything else to come. Bar assembly, where layers become legend. By now, all the elements are ready. The soft nougat sheet, the creamy caramel mixed with perfectly roasted peanuts, and the tempered milk chocolate standing by in warm, shiny tanks. It's time for the transformation, the moment when individual ingredients become something far more. The layering process begins with remarkable precision. As the nougat sheet moves steadily down the production line, a depositor arm suspended above it releases a thick, warm ribbon of the caramel peanut mixture prepared earlier. This depositor uses screw-fed piping to ensure even flow and perfect placement. A row of sensors monitors the height and spread of the layer as it's laid down, adjusting the feed rate in real time. Once deposited, the caramel peanut layer settles gently onto the nougat, forming a distinct two-layer slab. A pair of smoothing rollers pass over the top, not to compress it, but to lightly level the mixture and remove any gaps or peaks. Together, these two layers form what insiders call the Snickers sandwich, a continuous belt of nougat and caramel peanut, stretching over 100 feet in length and moving with steady momentum toward the cutting zone. But before it can be sliced, the layered slab must be stabilized. It enters a long, refrigerated tunnel where the temperature is gradually reduced to around 65 degrees Fahrenheit. This chill firms up the caramel so that it won't smear or slump when sliced, and it also gives the nougat just enough resistance to hold its form. As the slab emerges from the cooling tunnel, it's immediately greeted by a device called a slitter, a machine equipped with dozens of razor-sharp rotary blades, each spaced with laser-measured precision. These blades cut the slab lengthwise into uniform narrow strips, each the exact width of a Snickers bar. But these strips are still uncut in length. They stretch continuously down the line. That's where the guillotine cutter comes in. Every few inches, the strips are fed through a high-speed blade that chops them into individual bars. The motion is synchronized with the speed of the conveyor, slicing cleanly between peanuts to avoid uneven edges or breakage. The result? A perfect row of identical rectangular bars. Same height, same width, same weight. Each bar now rolls forward on its own dedicated conveyor lane, spaced precisely apart to prepare for the next phase, the chocolate bath. But before they reach the enrobing station, they pass one final checkpoint, the inspection zone. Here, automated vision systems and metal detectors verify every detail: weight, size, alignment, and foreign particle detection. Bars that don't meet the exacting standards are automatically diverted off the line. Nothing is left to chance. The bars that pass, they're ready for the star treatment. Chocolate enrobing, the final cloak of perfection. If the nougat is the heart of the Snickers bar and caramel its crown, then chocolate is its armor. The delicious outer shell that seals in flavor adds creaminess and makes it instantly recognizable. At the enrobing station, the bars pass through two temperate chocolate waterfalls. First, they're coated on the bottom. A shallow bath of liquid milk chocolate flows beneath the bars, and as they pass over it, the base is gently submerged, coating the underside in a smooth, even layer. Immediately after, they pass under the top enrober, a cascading curtain of milk chocolate flowing from a horizontal spout. The flow is tightly controlled to coat just the right amount, avoiding waste while ensuring full coverage. The bar is now fully wrapped in a layer of rich, tempered milk chocolate, but the process isn't over yet. As the freshly coated bars emerge, they ride over a series of vibrating grates which gently shake the surface of the chocolate. This motion helps eliminate air bubbles and ensures that the coating hugs every contour of the bar, including the curves of peanuts peeking through the caramel. Next comes the detail that gives every Snickers its signature look: the swirl. A small decorative roller brushes lightly over the top of each bar, leaving behind a subtle zigzag pattern, a flourish added not for function, but for familiarity. It's a detail many people never consciously notice, yet always expect. Next time you open a Snickers, take a look. That swirl is always there. Once swirled, the bars enter the final cooling tunnel. Inside, cold air slowly reduces the chocolate's temperature to a solid, glossy finish. This last phase locks in the structure, prevents bloom, a white discoloration from fat separation, and makes the bar ready for wrapping. By the time they exit the tunnel, each Snickers bar is fully formed, fully coated, fully cooled, and ready to be packaged. At this moment, the journey from raw ingredient to finished product is nearly complete, but the bar still has one more trip ahead. Let's move into the final phase: wrapping, shipping, and the moment it lands in your hand. Precision wrapping and global distribution. With their chocolate shell fully set and swirl proudly in place, the completed Snickers bars now glide toward the final leg of their journey: packaging. Each bar enters a high-speed wrapping line, where an automated system feeds them one by one into wrapping machines. These machines pull, cut, and seal a special multi-layer film designed to preserve freshness, prevent melting, and protect against moisture, oxygen, and light. The wrapping material isn't just a label, it's science. Its interior layer acts as a vapor barrier, the middle provides structural strength, and the printed exterior carries branding, nutritional information, and batch codes for traceability. At this stage, each machine can wrap up to 1,000 bars per minute. That's over 16 bars per second, flying across the belt with no collisions, no tears, and no missed seals, thanks to finely tuned sensors, synchronized rollers, and precision heat sealers. Once wrapped, the bars drop into counted stacks, which are packed by robotic arms into cartons, trays, or multi-packs depending on their destination. These cartons are then scanned, sealed, and labeled before being stacked onto pallets by a robotic palletizer. Before leaving the plant, every pallet is shrink-wrapped and barcoded, then routed to one of several distribution channels. Some pallets will head to regional Mars warehouses. Others will be shipped directly to wholesalers, supermarkets, gas stations, or vending machine suppliers, sometimes within 24 hours of production. Each day, this single factory can ship millions of bars to over 60 countries, using a web of trucks, cargo ships, and distribution hubs that span the globe. By the time a Snickers bar lands in your hand, in a store, on a shelf, or from a vending machine, it's already passed through over 20 precision steps, dozens of quality checks, and hundreds of feet of automated engineering. And yet, it all feels effortless when you take that first bite. From factory to first bite. It's easy to think of a Snickers as just a snack, something quick, familiar, and satisfying. But behind every bar is a marvel of coordination. Farmers, engineers, food scientists, machine operators, and distribution teams working together to produce a candy that's consistent, scalable, and universally loved. The precision roasting of peanuts, the science of caramel viscosity, the aeration of nougat, the delicate choreography of enrobing machines. Every detail is measured, timed, and refined, not just to make candy, but to make an experience. That satisfying snap of the chocolate shell, the chew of the nougat, the crunch of the peanuts, the stretch of the caramel, it's all by design. a design refined over nearly a century. So next time you unwrap a Snickers bar, remember, it's not just what's inside that counts, it's how it got there. From farm to factory, from layer to layer, from craving to cure, that's how a Snickers is made.